What if the person destroying your life was the same person you were sacrificing everything to protect? I paid for her apartment. I bought her clothes. I sent her abroad for school. And the whole time, she was carrying my husband's baby. This is not a story about revenge. This is a story about what happens when love makes you blind and how betrayal can accidentally set you free. What if the love you trust the most is the very thing destroying you behind your back? I used to believe that love, real love, was something you could feel in your bones. Safe, warm, unshakable. The kind of love that didn't lie. Every morning started the same way. Soft sunlight would slip through the curtains, painting golden lines across our bedroom walls. And without fail, Ethan would turn toward me, brush a strand of hair from my face, and smile like I was the best thing that ever happened to him. Good morning, beautiful. It wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it, like he meant it, like there was no world outside of me. And I believed him. God, I believed him so deeply that I never once stopped to question anything. That was my first mistake. We had what people called a perfect life, a beautiful apartment in the city, shared routines, inside jokes, quiet nights filled with laughter and movies we barely paid attention to. Sometimes I'd catch him staring at me. What? I'd laugh. He'd shake his head, smiling softly. Nothing. I just can't believe you're mine. And just like that, my heart would melt all over again. Looking back now, I wonder how much of it was real, or if it was just that good at pretending. That night, the one I remember most, we were curled up on the couch, a movie playing in the background. Some dramatic scene was unfolding, but neither of us cared. He started laughing. "What are you laughing at?" I asked. "This scene is ridiculous." I raised an eyebrow. "You've been on your phone the whole time. You weren't even watching." He leaned closer, his voice dropping just enough to make my stomach flutter. "I wasn't watching the movie. I was watching you." I rolled my eyes, smiling. "You are impossible." "No," he said softly. "I'm serious. You are the most beautiful thing in this apartment." Moments like that, they build trust. They create a version of someone in your mind that feels impossible to doubt. And I didn't doubt him, not once. If you had stopped me back then and asked me, "Do you think your husband and your sister could ever betray you?" I would have laughed, not out of arrogance, but out of certainty. Because in my world, they were the two people I trusted most. And that's what made what came next so devastating. Because sometimes betrayal doesn't start with a decision. It starts with a moment. And I was about to leave them alone just long enough for that moment to happen.
How long does it take to destroy a relationship built on years of love? Sometimes, just one night is enough. The trip wasn't supposed to mean anything. Just 4 days. 4 simple, predictable days. That's all it was. I remember standing by the door that morning, checking my bag one last time, while Ethan leaned against the wall, watching me with that same familiar smile. "Do you have everything?" he asked. "I think so," I said, laughing lightly. "It's only 4 days, not a lifetime." He walked over, gently pulling me closer. 4 days is still too long. That used to mean something to me. Back then, I thought it meant love. Now, I know better. Lila was in the kitchen pretending to scroll through her phone, but I could feel her watching us. "You'll be okay here?" I asked her. "Yeah," she said quickly. "Don't worry about me." I turned to Ethan. "Take care of her for me, okay?" He didn't hesitate. Of course, she's your sister. Those words, they sound so normal, don't they? So safe, so harmless. Sometimes the most dangerous promises are the ones that sound the most innocent. I hugged him one last time. Call me when you can. I will. I love you. I love you more. And then I left. Just like that. If I had stayed 5 minutes longer, would anything have changed? If I had looked back one more time, would I have seen something I missed? Or was this always going to happen, no matter what? The first day passed quietly. We texted, he checked in, everything felt normal. Too normal. By the second day, something shifted, but only slightly. His replies got shorter, less playful, more distant. Busy with work, he said. I believed him. Of course I did. Meanwhile, back home, something else was happening. Something I didn't see, I didn't feel, I didn't even imagine. It started small. It always does. That evening, Lila stood in the kitchen staring at the stove. You actually know how to cook? She asked, surprised. Ethan chuckled. My mom insisted, said no man should depend on anyone for food. That's practical. She is, he said. There was a pause. One of those quiet moments that stretches just a little too long. Careful, he said suddenly, stepping closer. She had burnt her finger slightly. It's nothing, she said, pulling back. But he reached for her hand anyway. Let me see. Their eyes met. And in that moment, something shifted. Not love, not yet, but something dangerous. Something neither of them stopped. Thanks for tonight, she said later, sitting across from him at dinner. I thought I'd be bored while you were away, she added. Victoria would kill me if I let that happen, he joked. She worries too much. She loves you. Lila looked down for a moment. I love her too, she said quietly. But sometimes, I feel like I disappoint her. Ethan shook his head. That's not true. She adores you. You're kind, she said. I will try. Another pause. He should have walked away. She should have changed the subject, but neither of them did. Can I tell you something? She asked softly. Anything. I feel like we understand each other. He hesitated. That was the moment, the exact moment where everything could have stopped. All he had to do was say no. All she had to do was step back. But instead, he said, I feel it too. And just like that, the line disappeared. What happened next didn't feel like a decision. It felt like something they let happen. Something they didn't fight, didn't stop, didn't question until it was already too late. This is wrong, she whispered. I know, he said. Victoria would hate us. I know. But knowing something is wrong doesn't always stop people from doing it. That night, in one moment of weakness, they destroyed everything. And I was miles away, smiling at my phone, thinking everything was still perfect. But the real damage wasn't what they did. It was what they chose to do after. What worse than betrayal? Two people choosing to lie about it every single day. Morning came and reality hit them both at the same time. Silence filled the room. Heavy, suffocating, unavoidable. Don't, Ethan said quickly. Lila froze. Don't say it out loud. But they were both thinking the same thing. What have we done? We made a mistake, he added. A huge mistake. Lila wrapped her arms around her, her voice shaking. We can't tell her. He didn't even hesitate. We can never tell her. And just like that, they made their second mistake. Because betrayal might start with a moment, but destruction, that comes from the lies that follow. They didn't fight, they didn't argue, they didn't confess. Instead, they agreed to silence, to pretend, to act like nothing ever happened. By the time I came home, they were ready, smiles in place, voices steady, guilt buried just deep enough. I'm home, I called out, dropping my bag. Ethan appeared first. There she is, he said, pulling me into a hug. I missed you. I missed you too, I smiled. Lila stood behind him, quieter than usual. But I didn't notice, not really. "How was everything here?" I asked. "Fine," Ethan said. "Quiet." "We just relaxed," Lila added. "We cooked a few times," Ethan continued. "Watched movies," Lila said. I smiled. "That sounds perfect. I'm glad you two bonded." Bonded. That word. I had no idea how true it was. If betrayal had a sound, it would be that moment. Soft, invisible, hidden inside something that feels harmless. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and life went on. But something had changed. Even if I couldn't see it yet, I could feel it. Ethan became distracted. Not all the time, just enough to notice. Late nights, missed details, a different kind of silence. "Are you okay?" I asked one evening. "Yeah," he said quickly. "Just walk." Walk, that word again. Lila too felt different. Quieter, more distant. Sometimes I'd catch her staring at nothing, lost in thought. Or maybe lost in guilt. But I trusted them, so I ignored the feeling. Because when trust is strong, it blinds you. Until one day, everything changed. Lila knew before she took the test. Her body told her. Her instincts screamed it. And when the result confirmed it, her world collapsed. "I'm pregnant," the words barely left her lips. Ethan stared at her frozen. "No, that's not possible." "It is," she said. "I took the test 3 times. Silence. Pure panic. "What are we going to do?" she asked. "Victoria is downstairs." That was the moment reality hit. Not just what they did, but what it created. "Calm down," he said quickly. "We'll figure it out." "Figure it out," she snapped. "She's going to find out. We just need to think." "I can't stay here," she said, shaking. "If I stay, she'll know." He looked at her. "What are you saying?" "I need to leave." And just like that, the lie got bigger, much bigger. Because now, it wasn't just a secret anymore. It was a life. And they were about to do whatever it took to keep me from finding out. If this story moved you, if you've ever loved someone who was quietly betraying you, drop a comment below. You are not alone, and you are not the reason they chose to lie. Subscribe if you believe that the right people stay, and share this with someone who needs to hear that starting over is not losing, it's arriving. See you in the next one.